You know, I just think Rolex sports models that are stainless steel are just pure trash. I know, quote me on it. I said it, pure trash. Hey guys, PJ back with Watch Trading Academy, and today we are going to be talking about the elephant in the room, which is the stainless steel Rolex. Yes, everybody wants it. Everybody wants the sports model. Yes, it goes up. It's worth 2.5 times the MSRP. I know that. And yet, I believe that stainless steel Rolex sport models are absolute trash. I know. It sounds weird, but you have to hear me out. Once you get past the whole I can afford it to you can afford better stuff, it's really trash. Like, I mean, if you actually put it on your wrist, it feels flimsy, it feels cheap, it doesn't really have a good balance, and honestly, it's nothing really extraordinary by any means. So why do people so adamantly keep going after these sport models? Well, I think part of it is that a lot of people are either afraid or look at the gold part of Rolex in a different light. So there's a couple of people I've met over the last few years that have told me why they only wear sport models, even though they can afford these rose gold or yellow gold or whatever other heavier models. And I've always asked them, why do you keep wearing stainless steel? And the answer is quite simple. One, I don't want to get robbed. And two, it just feels lighter on my wrist. So I kind of understood that. I kind of understood that the feeling or the weight of gold watches is heavier, which I personally like. I love feeling like I have something on my wrist because otherwise it feels stupid and flimsy, so I've just never been a fan. They make these Richard Mille watches in like black and other colors, and they're very like flimsy in carbon, and you can barely feel like you have something on your wrist, and I get that's cool, but I personally hate it. And I've always hated the stainless steel models, like more than anything else. But one of the things that's really interesting is that historically, you could always buy stainless steel models really cheap, right? In beautiful Patek Nautilus. And it was, you know, really cheap in stainless, much more expensive in rose gold, and so on and so forth. And there was almost a double price increase. But things have changed so much in the watch market that now stainless steel models, in some cases, are worth more than other rose gold models. Like a good example of that would be that you could buy a stainless steel crappy Rolex for 22 grand when the MSRP was 11, but yet you could probably buy something like this really beautiful rose gold Panerai 289, which is a significantly better watch in every way possible in rose gold with a significantly higher MSRP for the same dollar amount. So stainless steel no longer makes sense as it pertains from a value standpoint because it's now extraordinarily expensive for no reason. And one of the personal reasons why I also hate stainless steel from a value or investment standpoint is because stainless steel watches, while they are very popular in the short term and keep going up and have that followership, they also have one significant flaw. There's no real value other than the hyped value that people give it. Meaning that there is, for example, in this very heavy and beautiful skeletonized Audemars Piguet, there is an actual value of gold. And the same thing can be said for this summer or for any of these watches. Even this Patek here in the heavy white gold still, again, has some sort of value outside of just the fact that it is the watch value itself. And I've always said having both the precious metal and the watch will counterweight any type of heavier risk, especially in the thing. But, you know, there are opportunities, I feel, in the investment level where people aren't really paying attention to markets because they're not generally popular. Here's a good specific watch, the Nautilus 5981A, which is the two-tone that people aren't really paying attention to. Instead, they're paying attention to the stainless steel, and then they're also paying attention to the all gold, but they're not paying attention to the two-tone, which is going up significantly and has been going up, but really hasn't been as popular. So it brings me to this next kind of idea. Why are stainless steel Rolexes still so popular despite the price increase? And I just can't make sense of it, which is why it scares me as an investment more than anything else. Actually, as a matter of fact, I'm so scared of it as an investment that I won't even trade one in at a ridiculous number unless it's 50% of the margin between the MSRP and where it's at, which guarantees a huge win and basically puts me away. I ended up one time paying $32,000 for a Daytona stainless steel, which makes no sense when you can still, from an AD, get a yellow or rose gold Daytona for 35 grand. And yeah, I get it. It's a Panda. It's this. I don't give a shit. It's a piece of crap. You could buy much nicer Daytonas, much heavier, with precious metals, in much better shape, and while it might be hard to get a John Mayer dial at the AD, you can still buy plenty of white gold and yellow gold Daytonas or rose gold Daytonas from your AD if you're patient and use some of the strategies we teach. So it's not that hard to do, right? So at some point, you got to realize that if something's not hard to do and people aren't doing it, and instead they're taking the easy way out and bringing the investment up of what they thought they could afford, then somewhere in that equation, something is flawed and something is a high risk, which is why I personally think that stainless steel on both the front of AP, Patek, and Rolex are just flawed products. Now, I will say that there are exceptions to that. We're not talking about stainless steel special edition watches. I'm not referencing that a very limited special edition stainless steel watch is a terrible investment. I'm simply saying that if we are to compare the fact that some people are paying $15,000+ for Submariners, which are like $7,000, that doesn't make any sense to me. And I find those kind of models to be incredibly flawed investment models. And also part of the reason why I think the watch industry gets a bad rep is that a lot of people are hogging these watches for 2 times MSRP, and then when they fall down and they collapse and they're not worth anything, people just make the assumption that it was a bad investment. And not all watch investments are equal. Not all watch investments are well done. If you actually want to trade or learn to invest in watches, click the link in the description where I will take you through a 1-hour training to decipher for you what makes a watch an investable watch and why you should start acting on this trade. However, today, when we're just comparing investments as it pertains to precious metals versus stainless steel, and while some stainless steel models are significantly heavier in percentage over MSRP than some precious metal models or two-tone models, I think it makes no sense. And I think that the more people cave into that, the more hyped something becomes. Remember that the more common public isn't something without really an understanding or track record or anything else, the more the markets go crazy, but crazy in a way that's unsustainable and eventually find themselves falling down. So if you want more advice like this or more cool videos about Rolex or anything else as it pertains to investing in watches, please make sure you click like, turn on notifications, and of course subscribe. And you tell me, would you take actual stainless steel Panda Daytona over something this beautiful? I don't know, man. I think it's unlikely, but you let me know in the comments and I'll catch you on the next video for Watch Trading Academy.